Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to Writing the Future with Hansa Rostock, my FIFA 21 career mode, as you can see there. That was the first edition of actually Writing the Future, recapping our first season. As you can see, we are at the end of June, one day before the season ends, and we are going to do a little bit of recapping with the squad. Exciting news, as I said last episode, we do have new goalkeeper kits, so this is what we will be featuring for the next upcoming season, the 2021-2022 season with Hansa Rostock. These are the goalkeeper kits designed by yours truly, and they will be featured in the next season. So that's that. Now let's take a look at the stats. Okay, something I do want to mention before I go over all this review stuff. Lars Goop all of a sudden has a face. Actually, I'm just gonna go into the squad. Hopefully, don't give too much away. But Bango Fatty has a face too, and that just doesn't look like. That just doesn't look like Bango Fatty at all. I don't know how they came up with face. I don't know how they got faces. Lars Goop actually kind of looks like Lars Goop would in real life, I guess. But somehow they got faces. I don't know. Anyways, top goal scorer this season was Lars Goop himself, so maybe that's how he earned a face. But yeah, 15 goals for Lars Goop, 11 for Niels Weigel, 10 for Onani Chikoko. Those are your top three scores for Rostock, for Hansa. Pretty mixed. Goals from two of our center backs, Bango Fatty and Rolf Bierbaum. Bango Fatty with a new face, love that. Assists-wise, Konrad Rosenberger led the third league of Germany in assists and our team with 10. Onai Chikoko had 8. He had a very good season. Lars Goop had 6, as did Niels Weigel. Very well-rounded as far as assists go, I would say, with this team. It's nice to see 2 assists each from the left back, starting left back and right back for the squad. That's something that I like to do, is get forward with the fullbacks. So that is nice to see. Other than that, I did some editing of player ratings, so I'm actually going to go through the entire team. Bear with me, but I don't think I've ever actually showed the player ratings for Hansa Rostock. So I'm going to go over what their beginning rating was at the start of the season, and potential, what they ended the season with as far as rating and potential go, and then what I edited it to. Based on performance, based on where we're at with this career, I edited some players to reflect how I feel like they played in the first season and where they're heading. So starting with Konrad Rosenberger, who is now the highest overall player at Hansa Rostock. He was a 56 to 74, 56 overall to 74 potential. So when I say the two ratings, I'm going to go overall first, then potential. He had an amazing season. Led the league in assists, had a bunch of goals from the center mid spot. So he went from 60 to 74, which is where he ended the season, and now he is 62 rated, 78 potential, so a bump in both. Niels Weigel had himself a good season. He was a 56 to 74 to start as well, also finished at 60 to 74. I bumped him up just a very little bit to 61 overall, 75 potential. I can show a bit more stats on the side too. Konrad Rosenberger, known for his stamina. He has the leadership trait. He is the captain. A little flair out of Konrad. Love to see that. A very well-rounded player. Niels Weigel, strong, good finisher. Anyways, we keep moving here to starting goalkeeper Kjartan Tinderson, rocking the new colorful, bold-looking goalkeeper kits. I'm in love with them. Obviously, I designed them. He had an okay season. He finished at 59 overall, 74 potential to end the season. I bumped him up to 60 overall, but I dropped his potential to 73. He will still be the starting goalkeeper, though. Rolf Bierbaum had himself an alright season. Nothing too good, nothing too bad. He was a 59 to 74. At the end of the season, I bumped him up to a 60 overall and dropped his... same thing as Kjartan Tinderson, so dropped his potential to a 73. Small changes, but ones that I feel like reflect these players' seasons. And there is dynamic potential and overall changing in FIFA career mode in general. The game has that implemented, but I don't think I trust it as much as I trust my own judgment based on the fact that I have played with these players every single game of their careers so far. So Kai Hammerschmidt, our other starting midfielder, had an alright season. Nothing too crazy. I actually didn't move him at all. He was a 60 overall with 74 potential, and that is where he is staying. Lars Goop, the first real mover, I would say. He is a 6'3", skillful, talented striker who had himself an amazing season. 15 goals, 6 assists. Didn't score for the last month and a half of the season, I think, but he had himself an amazing overall season. He started off as a 52 overall with 77 potential, ended the season at a 56 with 77 potential, and I bumped him up to a 60. Got him to a 60, just below Niels Weigel, who is the first string striker technically at 61, so he is now a 60, but I gave him 80 potential. At 19 years old, that's very good. He is definitely our most valuable player, our best young talent. Next up, Onani Chikoko, left winger, had himself a very nice season. The Malawian winger, very fast, young player. He just had himself a good season, 10 goals, 8 assists. I would say it was an above average season for him, which is good. So he finished at a 59 overall, 74 potential. Now he is 60 overall with 76 potential. So small bump for Onani Chikoko. Ferdinand Flugel, right back. No movement from him. He was just kind of okay. I didn't feel like moving him at all. Nothing really special out of him. Literally same thing for Hans Glockner here. 59 overall, 74 potential for the both of them. Borislav Buchko, I feel like he didn't have a very good season overall. But it wasn't so bad that I wanted to drop his overall, so he finished at it same as the other guys, 59 overall, 74 potential. He is now 59 overall with 72 potential, so a small drop in potential for Borislav. Beno Oji stayed right where he was, 59 to 74, same as a bunch of other guys. He's a very athletic defensive midfielder, so he doesn't really get affected that much by not getting affected. He's just a very good player overall because in FIFA, obviously physical traits have always been overpowered. Alright, the other winger, Falco von Boss, young German winger. I think he had an okay season. Nothing too great, nothing too bad. Not a lot of goal scoring, but I didn't really feel like he put in any shocking performances. He does have a power free kick trait, and he's a kind of a long shot kind of player. He can pop them from deep, but didn't do a ton of that this season. He's staying at 59 to 74 as well. Denzel Moon, the American center back who I thought had a fantastic season. Great late run of form. Didn't start off the season too hot, but I think overall his season was better than he was expected to be. So he got a little bit of a bump. He was a 52 to 77 to start. 55 overall was where he ended. 78 was his potential, and I actually bumped him up to 58 overall. A bump in overall by 3 and potential by 2. So he is now an 80 potential, similar to Lars Goop, a little bit less overall. Very athletic, tall, kind of gifted center back, to be honest. So he'll be one to look forward to using in the future. Belaris Targaryen, our backup goalkeeper. I think he had the best season overall as a goalkeeper. He actually didn't have a single clean sheet according to his stats, which I just don't believe. But he showed a ton of promise, made a ton of really important saves. This is why it's important to play with your teams in FIFA in whatever career mode you do. You play the game so you feel what feels right with your players. I think Belaris Targaryen made some important saves, some big saves. He's a big man. He's 6'5", and honestly, I see him with a ton of potential. He was a 52 to 77, finished as a 55 with 77 potential. I bumped him up to a 58 with 79 potential. I feel like he deserves it. I just don't know how he got a face and how it is. The hair is close, but the face. Listen, man, that's just not close. But we love it. I'm gonna rock with it. I don't know how to change it anyways, so screw it. We're keeping it. Bango, fatty. Kind of an unsung hero this season. Not necessarily for his play, although he was good. I thought he was very good this season, considering how low overall he started. but he is our cult hero, I would say. And to reflect that, the fans bumped him up. I would say it was the fans that bumped him up. He was a 48 to start the season, finished at a 51, and now he's a 57 overall. Reflective of what I think is a pretty important season for his career. Hopefully he gets more playing time next season. He's a thick man, 6'1", 220. Ton of strength, not a lot of pace. He actually has a ton of shot power if he ever lets one rip, but that could mean a bunch of things. Alright, Boris Yakovic had a great mid-season, I would say. His form in the middle of the season was fantastic. He probably is going to be in contention for goal of the year for the team. He is now a 56 overall, but I had him at a 52 to start the season. Grew to a 50... He grew to a 55, and I just bumped him up by 1 to a 56. That goal of the season and great run of form in the middle of the season was enough for me to say he deserves a slight upgrade. So Boris Yakovic with a little upgrade. Carl Heisenberg, small upgrade, 55 to 56, just literally the same as Boris Yakovic. I feel he was very good this season. He actually had 3 or 4 assists from the backup defensive midfielder position, was very impressive. Nothing incredible out of him, no goals, but definitely nothing bad. I thought it was a fairly good season for Heisenberg. Arno Rule, same thing. I dropped his potential by 1, but his overall went up by 1, so not a lot to say out of him, but I wouldn't say anything bad either. Dirk Schmeller had 4 assists, solid backup midfielder. I did the same thing as I did with Arno Rule as him. Potential down by 1, overall up to a 56. Amniaji, another unsung hero this season. We got a lot of goals from a lot of unlikely sources. Amniaji's by far the most athletic person on this team. Maybe not athletic, but he is physically gifted, for sure. Speed for days, agile, great balance, great stamina, decent strength for a guy who is 5'7". But Amniaji had himself a great season. Definitely deserved a little bit of an upgrade, so he started the season as a 48, ended as a 51, and now is a 55. Has kept an 80th potential through it all, and that will not change. He's got that second wind. He is Nepalian. He's been hiking his whole life in the mountains of Nepal. So that's Veno Kobalia and Bjorn Thorn are these two that are 52s now. They finished the season at 50 overall each, with 80 potential. I bumped them up by 2 because I feel like they weren't in very often. They were probably in the least, made the least appearances, but they both did a solid job when they did appear. So, not much to say there. And then last but not least, the only player that I thought, even though his form says good, I specifically didn't think he did not have a very good season. Whenever he was in, I feel like he got beaten in behind. I don't think a lot went very well for Ali, the Djiboutian left back, so I bumped him down. He started the season as a 48, rose to a 51 overall. I think I actually dropped him to a 50, but the game brought him up to a 51 over the past month. Either way, I think that's reflective that he is the lowest overall player on this team. He still, though, does... oh, no, I dropped his potential from 80 to 77. I didn't affect his overall. I dropped his potential, that's what it was. So he now has 77 potential. Still a lot of room to grow, but I feel like that's reflective of how he performed this season. Moving on from that, I will now be simulating through the end of this season and onto 2021, the start of next season. So I'll meet you there. Alright, so we are in to the second season here. Actually, as you can see there, Atletico Madrid won the Champions League with Luis Suarez leading the way. Love to see that. I have already gone ahead and done my scouting, and I have come up with 5 players that we are going to be signing through free agents. All randomly generated players. I did look at their overalls and potentials. Little bit of cheating, but actually I think it's okay because I still made some educated guesses, and these were 5 players that I would have taken anyways. I had a list of like 20-25 players. Good names, good players, good positions for what we need, what we're looking for right now to fill spots, fill depth. So these are the 5 players. Center back, Italian center back, Alessandro Campora. He is actually the best player of this group. He is a 64 overall with 77 potential. 19 years old. He will start at center back right away for us. That'll fill a much needed part of our team that has been lacking in defense. Second guy, this guy is incredible. Attacking midfielder, plays center forward, so he might be able to play a little bit of striker. 17-year-old Moroccan Mo Chakla. Mo Chakla. I love the name, honestly. He's a 58 overall. He has 78 potential, a little higher than Campora. Yeah, he's got great skills. 5-star weak foot. Can't go wrong with that. Next guy up is 5'7" left winger from Aruba, Mario Room, or I think it's Mario Rome, like Rome. But he is a solid little winger. 55 overall, 74 potential, 17-year-old. Honestly, just some depth at wing. We have backup left-footed wingers, but we do not have very many backup right-footed wingers, just Boris Yakovic right now. So he'll join the squad, along with this guy, who is the best of the bunch, in my opinion, because he is kind of like a hidden gem, I would say. 19 years old, but he is a 63 overall with 85 potential. This is the highest potential player we're going to have on our squad. Angel Bueno. The Spanish midfielder, attacking midfielder. Can play central midfield. Looks like he's got good stand tackling, okay slide tackling. Overall, it looks like his stats are phenomenal. He looks incredible. So he'll probably end up right in the starting squad as well, along with Campora. And then finally, a little backup right back depth. It says he can play right mid too, which is fantastic. Work rates say that he definitely can. 5'9", Japanese right back Ryo Fuji, or I think it's Fujii. I'm not actually sure. Let me know if I'm wrong on that. He is a 60 overall with 79 potential. So honestly, depends on. I think he's the same overall as Ferdinand Flugel. So we will have some competition there. But look at that hair. This man is the samurai savior at right back that we might need. Highest potential at right back we're gonna have, and he's already. I think he's the highest overall, or tied for the highest overall right back we're gonna have. Looks like a very good attacking right back, which is just what I like. So honestly, these are 5 great players that I will sign. You'll be able to see them in uniform, ready to go next season, or next episode, I should say. But for now, I am going to leave you with some voting to do for last season. So we had some crazy goals, some great play, some pretty terrible play, but we don't vote on that. Literally, all you have to do, in the top right, there's going to be a poll. You just have to click what you think is best. At the end of these, I'm going to show 3 goals. 3 goals that I am putting up for Goal of the Season nomination. If you have any suggestions for what the Goal of the Season can do to this career mode, I mean, if the player gets a bump in overall or whatever. Honestly, it could just be for recognition. Could just, like, put the name into the hat for Goal of the Career mode at the end of the career mode. But either way, vote for the Goal of the Season last season. I'll show all 3 of them now. And then you can vote after all 3 are shown. And finally, before we get going here, I know it's been a long off season, but it has been a good one. We have a lot to look forward to this upcoming season. Player of the season for Hansa Rostock. This I actually do want to give something to. I want there to be a benefit to this, some kind of increase in overall or whatever. The three candidates are number one, I feel like it's pretty obvious, Lars Goop, leading goal scorer. Number two is Conrad Rosenberger, the captain, central midfielder. 8 goals, 10 assists. Fantastic season from our captain. And finally is our left winger, Onani Chikoko from Malawi. He had 10 goals, had a great end of the season, as much as Lars Goop started off the season hot. He also put in 8 assists and really had a dynamic impact to the team. So, those are your 3 options for player of the season. Goal of the season, throw your votes in. Let's see what the polls say. Let's see what you people think. You don't have to put anything in the comments for this. This is very easy. Just click a name, vote for them. That's it. But I do want you to put something in the comments, and it is fairly simple as well. If you don't know countries, look some up. Because I, as you can see here, have scouts. Actually, I'm going to sign one more right now, as we're looking at it. Arno Bernard. And we're going to fire this guy. But and then we'll send this guy. So we have these 3 scouts. We can send them anywhere. Anywhere in the world. As long as this country is in FIFA. Because when you do a scout normally, you are limited to whatever countries are here. But there are obviously more countries in Africa than just what you see there. So, give me a country. Put countries in the comments. I will take any suggestions. The most popular countries I see in the comments. If it doesn't end up being any, I will end up choosing. But any country you say will pretty much be chosen. So what country do you want me to scout? These are going to be youth squad players that are either going to be 15 or older. If they're 15, they won't be in the squad. If they're 16 or older, they can be in the squad depending on their overall. So these are players that could be in the team. Let me know what country you think. That's going to be it for this episode. Thank you, as always, for watching. If you haven't already and you're new here, subscribe. Hit that subscribe button so you can see more of this, more FIFA content in general. I will definitely be trying to do more with FIFA in the future, but this is the big one. This is the series. We write the future with Hansa Rostock. And if you did, like the video. If you didn't, don't worry. You'll like a lot of videos that I do in the future. So, like, subscribe, share this around, comment your country in the bottom, vote for the goal of the season, vote for the player of the season, and as always, you'll never walk alone. Peace out.